Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Kavita Chauhan and today we are discussing another module, types of inference, anuman, Purvavat, sesavat and samanyato drsta. This module is written by Nirmalya Guha, teaching in MCPH. As we are discussing types of anuman, and these types of anumans are Purvavat, sesavat and samanyato drsta. Let us again discuss the definition of anuman. Anuman is the paramarshjanya jnanam anumiti. Paramarsh is again the knowledge of pakshadharmata. Now in the example of there is fire on hill. How do we know that there is fire on hill? Because there is smoke on the hill. In this sentence, fire is the sadhya, hill is paksh and smoke is hetu. An association of smoke and fire is known as vyapti. So vyapti is known as the nerve of anuman. Now if that is the case, let us discuss what are the three types of anumans. As I already mentioned, these three types are Purvavat, sesavat and samanyato drsta. Vatsayan talks about two sets of definitions. The first is probably the traditional one and the second set seems to have the definition he supports. The traditional definitions are Purvavat anuman is where the effect is inferred from the cause. For example, from a specific height, density, etc., precisely unnati of the clouds, one infers that it will be raining. In this example, rain is inferred from its cause, clouds. So clouds are the causes and effect is the rain. Another type of anuman is sesavat, where the cause is inferred from the effect. For example, from the fullness of a river that has excess water, which is distinct from the old water and the high speed of the current, one infers that it had been raining before some time. In this example, cause is inferred from the effect. Effect is the fullness of river and excess of water which is being inferred that it had been rained earlier. Third type of anuman is samanyato drsta. It has been observed elsewhere that something changes its position due to movement. The sun too changes its position, therefore the sun too has movement, although the movement is not seen. So samanyato drsta is the general principle, like in the present example we have seen that sun has movements although movement is not seen, because anything which changes its positions has the movement. Now let's discuss the difference of this traditional analysis of three types of anumans and Vatsayan's definitions of anumans. So first we again take up Purvavat anuman. According to Vatsayan, when someone has perceived two interrelated entities before, perceives one of those two entities and infers the other one, their inference is Purvavat. Example, inference of fire from smoke. Here in Purvavat anuman, Vatsayan maintains that when someone observes two entities occurring together and then seen by one of the entities infers the other one. For example, the case of fire and smoke, that is known as Purvavat anuman. Like someone might have previously observed the association of smoke and fire, and now in the present example one is seeing smoke and infers the fire. So this is a case of Purvavat anuman. Vatsayan definition of sesavat anuman is the term sesavat refers to the rest or residual. Suppose an entity X is identical to one of the entities Y1, Y2 or Yn and cannot be identical to anything else. Anyatra aprasanga Also suppose that it has been established that x is not y1 or y2 or yn number pratyaksha pratisiddhe. Here Vatsayan refers to the residual effect of a cause. Let us take the example. Suppose an entity x is identical with y1, y2 or yn number, but is not identical with anything else. So inference is to be established in either of the yn, y2 and yn number. In that case, one attains the cognition that x is actually the remaining entity, that is yn. Shishe mane sampratah. For example, through the inferential cognition, existent and non-eternal, one gets to know that sound is either a substance, dravya, or an attribute, guna, or an activity. It is definitely not a universal, samanya, or a unique particular, vishesha, or the relation of inherence, samvaya. In the example, we have seen that we can have the inferential cognition on the basis of something is existent and non-eternal. We can say that sound is a substance because it is existent and non-eternal. Now let us see how we understand it from the Sheshvat Anuman. Then one doubts, is sound a substance or an attribute or an activity? After that, one argues that number one, sound is not a substance since its material cause, samvayik karan, is just one substance, that is the ether, akash. Number two, sound is not an activity since a sound individual causes another one. As a consequence, one concludes that sound belongs to the remaining category, that is attribute or guna. If sound is a substance, then how do we know that? Is that from the material cause or samvayik karan, which is not the case because it has just one material cause, which is ether or akash, and second is that sound is not an activity. So what else is left to us is that the attribute. So we can say from the Sheshvat Anuman, Shesh means residue, what is left to us is that sound is not a substance or not an activity, it is an attribute. A samanyato drsta is an inference which is not preceded by the perception of the relation between the reason linga and target lingi. In this case, the unperceived target, a pratyaksha lingi, is inferred from a reason that is like some other established reason. For example, the soul, Atman, is inferred from desire, etc. Desire, etc. are attributes, and attributes must be located in a substance. In this case, the locus is the soul. Hence, in the example, we have seen that desire is the attribute of a soul. So, attributes must be located somewhere or in a substance. So, Atman is the substance which is not been directly perceived but is inferred through samanyato drsta anuman. Vatsayan's definition of these three types of anumans, Purvat, Sheshvat and samanyato drsta, is different from the traditional one. Traditional anumans were established on the basis of causal relation, whereas Vatsayan establishes his definition of these anumans on the basis of observation. As he very clearly maintains in these three types of anumans, like in the first one, Purvat, he says when a person sees the two entities occurring together. So observation is the essence of Purvat Anuman. Like a person has observed occurrence of smoke and fire together. Also in the second type of anuman, that is Sheshvat, Vatsayan maintains very clearly that there can be three entities, and in these three entities what is the residue or which is left to us is being inferred. We can understand with the example. Suppose someone is murdered and there are three persons who are under doubt. These three, for example, are Tom, Dick and Harry. Tom and Dick could prove that they were not involved in the murder, so what is left to us, or the residue, is the third person is Harry. So this is the observation, though there are not given proofs for the third person is the murderer, but still it is being inferred because of the residue, and this residue is out of observation. And same is the samanyato drsta anuman, where Vatsayan maintains that it is observation based. The example is of the Atman and its attributes. We can observe only attributes, and from the attributes it's been inferred that there must be something which is substance, because attributes always have a locus, and that locus cannot be anything other than Atman. So with this distinction between the traditional definitions of anuman and the Vatsayan's definition of anuman, we find that only difference is of the causal relationship and observational based. Vatsayan made his definition on the basis of observation, whereas the earlier one, the traditional definitions, are based on causal relationship. Though Vatsayan had to face criticism of his theory of observation by later theoreticians, which we are not taking up in this module, but I hope with this simple definition of, or the categorization of different anumans between the traditional and the Vatsayan's contribution, you will be able to follow with this. I thank you.